Okay, so this is gonna be the explanation video for the whole, well, major diminished. We throw away the 6, we add in the, well, flat 6 and a sharp 6. So we have a formula that's something like, if we play it straightforward, yeah, I mean, we had to do something. We've been working the, it all started with the bond. I decided to do that 9-note long covers medley, and then First Light came up on my phone, and then I was like, oh, new Bond. To a video game, but still an Arnold score. And, well, that produced some creativity. So, we decided to do all those 9-note formulas pertaining to the D and the G, or the G and the D, showing how all that interacts. Mostly, whenever it came to what we did video-wise, it was discussing, well, different augmented variations that, kind of took us to different places. Just showing things through that. And we started getting into a little bit of diminished formula in these last few videos. And, well, like I'm saying, all of these songs that I've been throwing together, they just meant to be things that were thrown together. This one just happened to be a keeper. This one happened to be something I really enjoyed and will play forever. I love this thing. So, yeah, 3 days into it, I made a video on this just after having the whole, what was it? Basically the... That was, I mean, it had the beginning to it. It had the whole... whatever that part was, had all this, and then it just went straight to, it didn't have any resolve points. I even mentioned it when talking about it. If it were to be kept, it would need to be more than just the standard formula, the natural formula. It would have to go to some type of other options. Well, this one is going to do that. It's actually going to use all of its alts. So we're going to wind up using all 12 notes. We're just going to wisely use them off the formula. We've got, well, the B flat note, which we're going to use as a standard 5 type thing. It'll be used kind of on its own towards the end of the song, in that main part, the repetition part, not the intros, not any of the intro part. But we also have a part that shows off a C note. It almost looks like it's trying to resolve to just a normal E flat key. Now, E flat, that's where we're starting it if we're using the diminished formula, but we also have a part that resolves with the E note and the F sharp note to something more like a D key through a D chord and an A chord. Now this could also be an A key or an E key, but it's just something that's showing as circle of fifths and somewhere past that D position or beyond, it's showing up as that. So D key is reasonable for its resolve point. And one of the formulas that works for this happens to be a from D, a flat 2, a flat 3, and we plug the sharp 4 / flat 5. We plug that diminished position in there. And different formulas coming from D instead of E flat, we can I like the E flat one better. But I something in my mind irks whenever I see flat 2 positions come up in key formulas. It's allowed. I mean, that's on me. That's on me. It's something in my mind that does that. It just goes, how do I do that different? But I mean, if that's the best location for it, then it's not a mode. It is the formula. I mean, if the thing's got 2 additional alterations to it, flat 2 or flat 6, for example, I mean, that's considered one of the Mediterranean scales. I've seen that before. I like it at all. I'm just wary of using it, but it's my own mind that does that. That's totally acceptable. Like, there are people who do that, and it's acceptable. I've got covers that I do, some of them that are, I know of at least one that fits that formula. We'll play around with that eventually. I'll come up with something eventually. But, so there's 2 ways of seeing this formula, though. One of them's from D, one of them's from E flat, and it produces, because we've got a plug and 2 alterations. So we're gonna be 8 on, 4 off here, and we're going to come up with, I mean, a major key would have, the reason major keys are focus key, the key of least resolve, is because it only has 1 position that has a flat 5 note, that 7th position, our low green position out of major. And usually we just deal with that by not going to the chord to stay in natural, or instead of going to diminished, we just do the standard 5 thing, and we don't do natural. But again, I've commented on this before. Whenever you see somebody say it's natural and it isn't, I've done this. Yeah, it's not no, that's not what that is. So even this, whenever we're going to try to keep to this key formula and try to keep to it natural, it's always going to be going into other places. It's got travel points. It's always going to be doing something with its alts. So it's constantly moving away from that natural theory to get to its resolve points. But again, we have 2 different keys we can see it from, but both produce the same thing. So we're gonna be 8 on, 4 off, but like in a major key, whenever we're 7 on, 5 off, but we have 6 good positions to go through that produce either a major or a minor chord, and we don't have to worry about standard 5 application. We don't have to worry about, I mean, we got good 5 notes to all those chords. With this one, we only have, we've got, okay, so major is going to come with 1 unresolved position, but we're seeing this formula. It's got 2 unresolved positions and a plug. So 8 on, 4 off, we only have 4 good chords. We've got 4 other chords that do not come with very pretty positionings. Let me just show this now. It's going to be this D minor chord, the C sharp major, the A flat minor chord, and the G major. All of those are good. But whenever we're going into things like the E flat, again, I had a video connected, like it was supposed to just be all one, like I play the song, but I decided to get rid of that talk video, just cut that one down, and then do it separately. That way we could do it a little quicker and get a few more things in that I just didn't think to talk about. So I decided to do it over. But yeah, this is an augmented chord, E flat. We have that B note right there, or yep, B note right there. But we have a 2 note next up, so we have an F note in there. and a G note in there. So we have an augmented chord, but because of the 2-note, we still get that tritone position in there. It's a wonky sounding thing. It doesn't sound too good strummed, but whenever you pick it, it sounds quite nice. So, and same with this one. Oops. High and low parts. Real quick with this part, I mean, I've got those parts that are like, let me do that one more time, that's it. And then the one that's like, with those two, I mean, one of them's a clean sounding one of them's kind of got that grit to it. I'd use the grit one at the very end and go with the clean sounding one. But the first time, whenever we're doing it to where it's like and we do it twice, and then we do this twice, and then we go back to this, I'd have both guitars doing the same thing. And wait till we get into the actual verse part after that first time of doing the, to go to the whole. I'm one guitarist, and trying to get that part applied in there, it doesn't make me want to go to, it makes me want to let this guitar do the whole. Do it 4 times total on its own instead of go into the whole. Do it, 4 times total, so 2 more times. But I kind of think of that part as like the second guitar, if it were. And already start throwing some resolve in there with that D chord, getting that F sharp note in there. I believe right there, that would be it. Because once we, now I am going to do this part kind of in reverse, because once we start going into, like, this is all natural. But once we start going into this part to where it's, and that chord right there, we get a B flat note. It's only in the 5th position, so it's almost like a, it is a standard 5 thing. It is a 5th note harmonizing thing, but it just shows up real quick. So if we were going to do it on this end, it would be like us going from, while the other guitar plays. The full chords that ring out over it. So it's just, I think of this end as the, control end. This is the end that's stabilizing things. I think of this end as more of the accent and complementary end. because that's what it's doing a good job of. It's complementing everything that this is doing and kind of adding a little emphasis to it, kind of giving it its own little more depth, just a little bit more depth through a second guitar, kind of doing that. So I like it. I like it. Yeah, this whole thing, I mean, it's got the 4-on 4-off theory going, so it's got 8 notes to its formula. Well, we've got, well, that's how the B flat note appears in this, and only in that part, only in those chords, and in this chord at the end. We also, at that end, if we're doing the lower part, we've also have our F sharp note coming in through the B chord, the 5th note in the B chord, and whenever we go to the B flat chord, we're back to an F note, of course. So we're good once we get there. Yeah, that's where B flat shows up, and we could even get the F sharp in there if we go to the clean one. Only B flat right there. But if we go to the other one, because of our 5th chords, we do get the F sharp also showing up. So we have our choices. That's why I'm saying I'd be picky about how I applied those and where I applied those. I think it would get, the first time it would be, but then there would be one, I believe it would be 2 different times that the easier one would be used, the cleaner one rather would be used, and then 1 time at the very end that more hardcore. Maybe it's 1 time and 1 time, but I think it's 2 in 1. We have to listen to it and work it out, but I just like it. Yeah, 4-on 4-off. But we've only got 4 good chord positions. So now we go to the intro and we start working this thing forward instead of backwards. This intro, this is where I'm trying to go to wonky. I mean, I still have my G chord that I'm working. I still have my D minor that I'm working, but I'm trying to go to some more wonky positions. And again, whenever I did the very short video on this, just after I threw it together and just wanted to do it for a diminished lesson, I started liking it, and I started getting the idea already that, you know, we could throw alts in here. We could use these alts in here as resolve points and figure out, you know, what kind of major key this thing wants to really connect to. And I felt it was the D key once I got it going. But at first, I just thought anything was a good alt. Resolve to anything. B flat, yeah, it's a resolve. Nah, standard 5, nah. We could use that as a resolve. We'll use that as a standard 5 alt. That doesn't help resolve too much. The F sharp one, yeah. B flat, not so much. But alright, so we start things out just a G, and we're doing this D minor thing, but we're doing it from, oh wait, to start actually, we're doing no chromatics, but we're starting with our good chromatics. So we have the 0 through 2, the G through the A, we know that's good. But once we start going to B, just on the 3rd string, B flat through C, and then B through C sharp, those are no chromatics. The only good notes in there are the B notes and the C sharp note. I shouldn't be on those. But, okay. Do that twice, and then I start going into these 7th chord things. And then I sharp to 5 on the 7th chord, and we do the whole. Alright, now let's hear what these sound like. I mean, this one, the high notes, this one with the high notes, this one with the high notes. I mean, they're pretty horrible, no matter what. But okay, so with my end positions with the low notes, I had this one to choose from, and that was no, not doing that. Then I had this one. That was a little better, but I'm not doing that either. It doesn't sound quite perfect, but I know what that is. That's a major 7 or a flat 7 note showing up to that D fifth chord. I know what that is at least. And whenever you combine it with the whole thing, is just a little bit more resolved than whoops, this one and this one. So and the one I like. And then we slide into that. And eventually we wind up at, alright, so it's kind of like a E7th chord, but I'm not allowed the E note right now, so I need to go to the F note. I just sharp the 1, and that is just an A augmented chord. That one's the easy one. Well, the first time we're going to do a strumming pattern on the A augmented chord to get us to an A chord and resolve a little to get us to the next pattern, which is kind of cool. I'll explain. But we also have the second time that we do this to where we don't strum. We go into our main part, the part that has the repetition that we discussed in the beginning. So we have 2 different ways we can go with this simple but very interesting chord looking pattern. I don't know what else to say. And alright, so we're ending on an A chord. This is me explaining. Now we're going to go into this A flat minor to G thing. So it's like we're moving from the A chord with the resolve, and we've got that E note in there, right back into our main formula, but a minor chord, a half step, and then we're going to go to a G chord. It's the chromatic, but it's weird, but it sounds good. I mean, we end on that and we go to another resolve chord with a D, not a D minor, a D chord with the F note, and we even get that sus4 and sus2 note in there also with the G and the D, really trying to show that it's trying to push back in a resolve with that E and that F sharp note, something like I'm saying, very much like a D key. In the first video or the second video that I did, the one that I said there was only 1-2 guitar part, and no, this is kind of the second guitar part. You have the high end that does the it's almost like an E7th chord, because we're coming off this A flat minor, so we're just kind of changing up the chord a little. We're giving it a little bit more flavor. And we also have a D note ringing out instead of. So it's like just changing up the flavor a little bit. Like, hold on, how would I do this? That's one chord. That's the real chord. We kind of got those integrated. One guitar's playing one guitar's playing the other. But again, a high version versus a low version. We're just doing these. And then you get that, all the guitars, one guitar is still on the G chord, that. So A notes entering into that G pattern, kind of a sus, you know, coming down on those sus2 notes, both of them. So it looks like a D chord. It looks like a D fifth chord, just full version of a D fifth chord, but we're coming from a G chord to that. So I want you to see it through the, you know, sus2 hidden down on it too. So both are both ways of seeing it. You see what we're doing. And then we just the resolve to the real D chord with that F sharp note in there, and we eventually get the E note in there too, and that ends. We just wait for it, and okay, the first one, our C note is now our alt. We're going back into an altered version of our main formula, but we're not using a lot of notes. The C is the only altered note. It's making it look like it's trying to resolve to E flat major now. I know this is weird. We're coming from this D major look to something that's a half step, but it's diminished. It does wonky things. And we paused. We allowed for a change. So it's just we're moving into it. We're moving into something else, and our formula works with this. So, but we're using a weird position, a weird mode here. So we're doing this thing from a G to an A flat and an F to a G. But we're working off of this. It's almost like a G suspended fourth chord with that G and that C note in there. So, but sharp one also, we start with the A flat. That's what I'm saying, we get a G suspended chord right there. So that's our real deal G suspended chord, suspended fourth chord with the doubling up of that G note right there. So we got that nice sounding little chord. But now we're going to keep doing our G to A flat and our F to G thing, but we're going to start doing a thing to where we're going back, we're trying to push back to the original formula now. That was just a small little part that altered to that C note. So what we're doing off of that 4th string is a D, an F, and a D note between everything. Right back into and back to the part that I first talked about. So we are officially done with this. You've seen all the theory on it. You've seen all the parts now. There's just nothing. There's nothing more. But again, you're seeing how we're taking advantage of these alts now. We're going to get to sandball this sooner or later. I've got to figure out a lesson plan to integrate into the timing plan that's coming up. But we're definitely going to have to start exploring more extreme keys. We still haven't done anything that kind of shows true minor yet. Minor medleys do up. I have a feeling it's gonna be something like minor medley. I got another one. The Waltz of Partings, except we need to just do Partings early, and then we need to drop Shambhala soon. We need to get to that one, along with Paz. Kind of try to see if I can't do both of them sooner than later. All right. Keep at it. Keep rocking. Hope this helps. There's a big one for the channel, like extreme alterations or something. I mean, it's not all we're gonna do, but it's something we're going to do a lot of. I would encourage playing with the 1/1/2 stepper instead of something this extreme. It's a little bit more friendly. The 1/1/2 stepper is not going to give you alt as resolve options, but it repeats every 3 frets. There's repetition. So, I mean, you use your plugs to break up that monotony, and it kind of gives you a place to where, okay, the monotony's here, the monotony's here, the monotony's here, but the plug's here, I can break it up there. So, it gives you that. And then you can change the plug around depending on what you're doing. You know, not everything with it has to be a moving key. You can still create parts that aren't just like move this to this to this to this. You can still create some clever things out of it. You just have to be creative. These kinds of theories, like, we're all going to use the same 4 chords. We're forced to if we want resolve positions. But there's so much we can do off of it. There's so much we can do just by being creative with what we do have note-wise. I mean, no 2 people are gonna take this formula and create the exact same thing. I mean, yes, there may be similarities, but I mean, this is the wonderful thing about music. Even something that seems limited can seem like it has endless options. But that's gonna do it for this one. We've explained everything. Yeah, if the chromatic key works, formulas like these work. Eventually I'm gonna have to prove that even close positioning chromatic formulas, they can even be used and utilized. You're not going to get a lot of chords out of them, but they can be created. You can create creative things out of them that eventually, you work to from a major key or some other, thing that you're doing, or you work from them to your points of resolve and to something more ordinary. Well, resolve's more ordinary. What's friendly to the ear is always going to be the most ordinary, but I mean, I love this thing. I love everything about this new one. This was truly a keeper. I didn't mean for it to be, but a couple of them have come about this way now, and this was the first one I wanted to show because we got onto the diminished lesson, and it's been fun. Those chords, man, they are something else. But they can be utilized. They can be made to sound good. One thing I was supposed to talk about, little story time for you. The first time I got introduced to diminished, a teacher type person had played something that I just thought was the greatest thing in the world whenever he played it, and I asked him, I want to get used to diminished, show me your part, let me learn this thing and do it. And he played it, and he showed it to me, and I played it, and he looks at me, and he's like, you got it, you did it perfect. And I just looked at him like, this is the most horrible thing I've ever felt. Like, it feels, like, I love it when you do it, you make it sound good, but it actually feels awkward for me to do this. Like, I would not write that. I respect you for doing it, and it sounds great when you do it. I mean, obviously I like it. I wanted to learn it. I liked it so much. But whenever I do it, it feels bad. It just feels weird. But I didn't know how to use these chords yet. It really did. It felt like it went against the grain of what I was trying to, like, how quick can I get this back to major? Ugh. But all these years later, I utilized these. But it was a matter of learning it. Things take time, things take learning. That's why I wouldn't start with the most extreme formulas ever. I would start with major, work my way towards minor, start grasping things like the 9-note formulas, and then start taking off into heavier things. Also, I'm sorry I took those 9-note formulas in such an augmented direction, but that's what I wanted to do, the augmented and the diminished. Sorry there's no flat 6, or not a lot of it, or, it's not a main thing I was concentrating on. Sorry there's not even much of minor. I wanted to show that E minor thing and point out a few things, how the minors work. We'll get to one more of those. It's connected with timing lessons, though. Connected with the first timing video, which is coming soon. I'm going to do one to reward myself, and then we're going to start getting into timing through it. Yeah, whenever it comes to next up lessons, I mean, yeah, we got more. I kind of broke into things a little too quick, like the bond drop. Like I did the covers medley, and then the bond dropped, and it kind of created some inspiration. And then next thing I know, I'm doing all these things off the 9-note formula, and jumping into diminished things, and yeah. So eventually it led to this one. It led to this one keeper. And well, since Bond inspired it, we're going to call it Fur Gallore, because I think that's funny. So that's what we're going to go ahead and call this one. And well, hopefully it hasn't been no hour. Makes for such an upload. Alright, that's going to do it. Thank you as always. Hope you enjoyed. Keep on rocking.